Hi guys, so today we're gonna do something really exciting, and you know what that is? It's a bookshelf tour. So there's gonna be books all over the place, and there's gonna be a ton of books shown, and a ton of books, and just how many times am I gonna say the word books? I don't know. But we're gonna start with this shelf, and then we're gonna go in my closet, because it wouldn't be a Books, Music, and Kenzie bookshelf tour without a closet book. And then we're gonna go to a white cabinet, and then we're gonna go to the nice beautiful bookshelf at my grandma's house. Some of the series are split up because they are in different locations. I can't help that. That's where they fit. That's where they go. Deal with it. I explain everything as best as I can with series that are like misplaced and out of order and in different places. So yeah, that is this. So let's get into this bookshelf tour because it's already like 20 minutes long and I'm not even done editing. So whoa. Okay guys, so this is the first shelf and I'm aware that I'm filming it long ways, but it's basically because if I film it like this way, no matter, I'm like on the edge of my room too, like you can't see all of it. So that's why. But you know, it looks like this, and it is 7 shelves actually, since the top one is counted, but like there's like 6 like together ones. So let's get into the shelves individually. Okay, so this first shelf, I have read all the books on this, and they're kind of just like a series shelf. That's pretty much all that to this rhythm. The first book is Rush by Maya Bankson. This is the first book in the Breathless trilogy. Fever, which is book 2, and the final book, Burn. Catching Jordan by Miranda Keneally, Stealing Parker by Miranda Keneally, I Can't Forget by Miranda Keneally, and finally Racing Savannah by Miranda Keneally, and these are the first 4 books in the 100 Oaks series. Born at Midnight, Awake at Dawn, Taken at Dusk, Whispers at Moonrise, and Chosen at Nightfall, all by C.C. Hunter, and these are the Shadow Falls books. Touch of Frost, Kiss of Frost, Dark Frost, Crimson Frost, and Midnight Frost, and these are the first 5 books in the Mythos Academy by Jennifer Estep. And there's an empty space on this area for the 6th book, which is coming out in February. So this next shelf isn't tall enough really for these books, so like, you know, it only fits like really small ones. So they are sideways, and we're going to pull them out. These are books that I haven't read yet. I'm pretty sure I haven't read any of these, so yeah. 13 Little Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson. Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion. Speechless by Hannah Harrington. 20 Boy Summer by Sarah Auckler. This Is Not a Test by Courtney Summers by Melissa De La Cruz. Waiting for You by Suzanne Colasanti. And this is the one book that I have read, and it's When It Happens by Suzanne Colasanti. Revived by Kat Patrick. Jellicoe Road by Melina Marchetta. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Silver Linings Playbook by Matthew Quick. Babe in Boyland by Judy Gurman. My Name is Memory by Anne Brashears. Loud and Incredibly Close by Joan Safran Foer. The Hallowed Ones by Laura Bickle. Graceling by Christian Kishore. You and Me in the Space Between by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. And this is the 4th bind up in the Alice series, and you'll see the other 3 when we get to my grandma's house at that bookshelf. Then for the shelf, it's mixed of books that I have read and haven't read. It's just kind of a big old mishpot. And I'll tell you which ones I've read and which ones I haven't, so let's get into it. I actually brought these books down to the next shelf because it was just easier because they fit well in this and you can't stand them up on that one. So this is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, and this is the Barnes & Noble exclusive collector's edition, so there's that. Which I have read. Fateful by Claudia Gray, which I haven't read. Evercross by Elizabeth Taylor, and this is the 4th book in the Kissed by an Angel series, and you will see the bind-up of the first 3 when we get to my grandma's house. There Is No Dog by Meg Rosoff, and I have not read this. Immortal City by Scott Spear, and I have read this. And I know you're probably thinking, another The Fault in Our Stars by John Green? Yeah, this is just the original one that I got with the pre-order, and it isn't the exclusive collector's edition, but it is signed, so, you know, that's good. Then Crusade by Nancy Holder and Debbie Vigue, and I have not read this. The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak, which I have not read yet. Dead Until Dark by Charlene Harris, and this is the first book in the Sookie Stackhouse series, which I have not read yet. Gone by Michael Grant, which I have not read yet. Unearthly by Cynthia Ham, which I have read. Book 2 Hallowed by Cynthia Ham, which I have read. Final Book Foundless by Cynthia Ham, which I have not read. Carrier of the Mark by Lee Fallon, which I have read. No of the Mark by Lee Fallon, which I have not read. And Nobody But Us by Kristen Hellbrook, and I have not read this. So this next shelf is all hardcovers that I have not read yet, so let's get into them. The Treachery of Beautiful Things by Ruth Francis Long. Dark Companion by Marta Acosta. Dragonswood by Janet Lee Terry. Still Star-Crossed by Melinda Taub. Eleanor Park by Rainbow Rowell. What's Left of Me by Kat Zhang. Slated by Terry Terry. A Beautiful Dark by Jocelyn Davies. Teardrop by Lauren Kate. Bright Young Things by Anna Godberson. Wither by Lauren J. Stefano. Delirium by Lauren Oliver. Halo, Hades, Heaven, all by Alexandra Adonetto, and this is the Halo trilogy. So this next shelf is books I have not read, 2 series that I've read like some of the books, and Then, yeah, pretty much that's what's up with this shelf. Cinder, Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. These are the first 2 books in the Lunar Chronicles. The second, third, and fourth books in the Chronicles of Nick by Sherilyn Kenyon, Invincible, Infamous, and Inferno. And you will see the first book in another part of my bookshelves. Wings of the Wicked, which is book 2 in the Angel Fire series, and you'll see Angel Fire on another part of my bookshelf also. And these are the first and third book in the Divergent trilogy. The Insurgent is being lent out to someone right now, so that's why it's not here. And I have not read Allegiant yet. I'm about 25% through, so yeah. Pushing the Limits by Katie McGarry, which I have read, I just don't have another place for it, so it goes right here. The Bloodline series by Rochelle Mead, which is the spin-off series to Vampire Academy Bloodlines, The Golden Lily, and The Indigo Spell, which I've all read, and The Fiery Heart, which I am in the middle of reading also. So this next shelf, it starts to get a little dark, but I've read all these books, and it starts with Standalone's 2 series. The Beginning of After by Jennifer Castle, The Madman's Daughter by Megan Shepherd, Altered by Jennifer Rush, The Chance by Karen Kingsbury, The Dapper, also known as The Designated Ugly Fat Friend by Cody Kuplinger, and its sort of companion, Shut Out, The Selection, and The Elite by Kara Cass, and these are the first 2 books in the Selection series. Shatter Me and Unravel Me by Tahara Mafi, and these are the first 2 books in the Shatter Me trilogy. The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer and The Evolution of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. Defiance and Deception by CJ Redwine, and these are the first 2 books in the Defiance series. Now this final shelf of my bookcase is kind of all over the place, and I'll explain it while I get into it. But basically it's some series, some read, some not, some just random ones. It just stops all over the place. So the first book sitting on top of this is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and you'll see in the coming up clips that I'll have the sequel over on my bedside table, and this is just thrown on top of there because I've already read it, but I haven't found a place for it. It'll probably go towards the bottom since they're longer books, so that's probably where it's going to go, but for now it sits on top because it's easy to access. Nightshade, Wolfsbane, and Blood Rose by Andrea Kramer, and this is the original Nightshade trilogy. Snakeroot and Rift by Andrea Kramer, and these are 2 spin-off series that I have yet to read either one of them. So, and the third and final book in the Match trilogy, which is Reach by Ellie Conley, and you'll see the first 2 books when we get to my grandma's house shelf. You know what I'm talking about. Here's the Legend trilogy box set by Marie Lu, and it includes Legend, Prodigy, Champion, and Life Before Legend by Marie Lu, and this is the Legend trilogy. So these next 3 books are by Kelly Elliott, and they are part of the Wanted series. They have the first 3 books. Cherished actually just came out, and it's actually on its way to me right now. But this is Wanted, Saved, and Faithful. Like I said, these are the first 3 books, and yeah. Then also another book by Kelly Elliott is Broken. And this last book on this shelf is Anatomy of a Single Girl by Darius Nanowski. And you will see the first book in the series in the white cabinet over there, which will come next. Right now this is just a placeholder till Cherish gets there, so it has a place, and then this will go over where Anatomy of a Boyfriend is. So that is the last book on this shelf. So let's get into my closet where I have 10 books, which is insane. So we're gonna do that. So right here in this random place in my shelf, there's just an extra spot where I can keep books. So I just keep some unread books or books that I've started, or things like that. So let's get into them individually. Doled by Elise Chapman, Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie, The Breathing Series by Rebecca Donovan, When Smiles Fade by Paige Darth, Crier's Cross by Lisa McMahon, Born Wicked by Jessica Spotswood, The Season by Sarah McLean, Under the Never Sky by Veronica Rossi, Embrace by Jessica Shervington, Just One Day by Gail Foreman, The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, The List by Siobhan Vivian, Incarnate by Joni Meadows, Hereafter by Tara Hudson, Splintered by A.J. Howard, 172 Hours on the Moon by Johan Harstad, and the final book, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. Now we're onto the white cabinet area in my room, which I use as a bedside table. So right here is above the shelf that you are going to see soon, which is this, and I kind of use it as my bedside table, so there's other stuff on it, but we're gonna get through the books. Right here I have some 2 bookmarks that Mercy Mari actually signed, so yay, and I keep post-it notes because those are my backup bookmarks. They work, and good old deodorant. And on top of this shelf is kind of books that I want to read first. This is pretty much my to be read, for right now books. So I keep my Kindle above here because, like I said, it's my bedside table. So top I keep Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas, which I'm currently reading, so that's why it's on top and it looks a little funky when it's laying there. Then I have Of Poseidon by Anna Banks, and its sequel, Of Triton by Anna Banks. And the first book I have read, but I want to reread it, so that's why these both are here. Once in a Full Moon by Ellen Schreiber, and I also have read this, but I want to reread the second book, which is Magic of the Moonlight by Ellen Schreiber. Now I have these turned this way because they wouldn't fit the other way because I have my lamp there and stuff like that. So we're gonna kind of turn them on their sides and you're gonna see them. Starcrossed by Josephine Angelini, and I've also actually read this and I want to reread it because I pretty much forgot everything. Dreamless by Josephine Angelini, which I also want to reread, so I can read. The final book in the trilogy, Goddess by Josephine Angelini, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this series wraps up once I reread the first two. Then I want to read Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin, which is why it's up here, obviously. I've just heard so many good things about this, and I want to put it on my, get it done soon shelf area. And Changeling by Philippa Gregory, and I just realized my deodorant were in all these shots, so woohoo for that. And this is the first book in the Order of the Darkness. Okay, so if you watched my first bookshelf tour that I filmed like a year and a half ago, I actually still use this thing, and I still use it now, so let's get into the books inside of it. So the books on this shelf are ones that I've read, and most of them are new adult, if not like upper YA, so let's get into them individually. Beautiful Disaster and Walking Disaster by Jamie Maguire, and these are kind of like companions. One's from Travis's point of view, and one's from Maddie's, so yeah. Wake and Fade by Lisa McMahon, and these are the first two books in the Wake trilogy. Beautiful Bastard and Beautiful Stranger by Christina Lauren, and these are the first two books in like the Beautiful series, I'm guessing. On Dublin Street by Samantha Young, and this is the first book in the series, but I have yet to follow the other ones up. My Favorite Mistake by Chelsea M. Cameron. Wallbanger by Alice Clayton. Breathe, Because of Low, While It Lasts, and Just for Now by Abby Glens, and these are the first four books in the Seabreeze series. The Vincent Boys and The Vincent Brothers by Abby Glens, and this is the Vincent Boys series. Thoughtless by S.C. Stevens, and this is the first book in the Thoughtless series. Easy by Tamara Weber. Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and this is the first book in the Lux series. Safe Haven by Nicholas Sparks. From Ashes by Molly McAdams. Taking Chances by Molly McAdams. You Got Me by Mercy Amari. And the author actually signed it, so that's freaking awesome, totally. So, yay. Going Too Far by Jennifer Eccles. So on this shelf, I have not read any of the books, so we're just going to get right into it. Riding Hood by Sarah Blakely Cartwright. Leviathan by Scott Westerfield. The Maze Runner by James Dashner. Immortal Love Stories with Bite, which is edited by PCcast and, written stories by all these authors that I'm not going to list. Extraordinary by Nancy Werlin. Fated by Alison Noel. The Replacement by Brenna Yovanov. Falling for Hamlet by Michelle Ray. And Blood Red Road by Maura Young. Little Woman by Louisa May Alcott. East of Eden by John Steinbeck. The Vow, written by Kim and Cricket Carpenter. Uninvited by Amanda Marone. The Snow Child by Owen Ivy. Elixir by Hilary Duff. It's Kind of a Funny Story by Ned Vizzini. The Lucky One by Nicholas Sparks. Anatomy of a Boyfriend by Daria Schnowowski, something with that last name. Sarah Dessen, The Moon and More. The Castor Chronicles Book 2, and you will see the Book 1 at my grandma's, which is the next bookshelf that will be shown, but this is Beautiful Darkness, Beautiful Chaos. And the final book, Beautiful Redemption. These are by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. And as for this next shelf, it's pretty empty. It has books on their side because it will not fit, if I'm standing up. So I keep some long books there and just some hardcovers there that don't fit anywhere else. So I'm actually going to pull them up to this shelf so you can see them because it's kind of dark down here. This is Revealed by PC and Kristen Cast, which is the 11th book in the House of Night series, and you will see the other books in the House of Night series in the next bookshelf. Hold Me Closer, Necromancer by Lish McBride. A Field Guide for Heartbreakers by Kristen Tracy. Before I Die by Jenny Downham. Tuck Everlasting by Natalie Babbitt. And this book does not have a cover. It lost its Just Jacket a long time ago, but it's Touching Spiritfarer by Ben Michelson. Beta by Rachel Cohn. The Host by Stephanie Meyer. The Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, and this is all his novels, and it is a bind-up in the Barnes & Noble leather-bound edition. And this book had no chance of being held up because it doesn't fit when I try to stand it up. But it is Light and Dark, The Awakening of the Magic Knight, Mage Knight, I don't know, by D.M. Fife. And that concludes this shelf, so we're on to the bookshelf that is at my grandma's, and you will see the clips now. This is the second shelf, and I got it from Staples, and it's the Solder Premier thing, so it just looks like this, and this is at my grandma's actually, so eventually I want this moved where my other bookcase is at my dad's house, but for now it lives here, so let's get into it. So up on this first shelf, I actually have mixed series, so that means I have paperbacks and hardcovers mixed in with the series. So yeah, let's get into the books individually. The Fledgling Handbook, Marked, Betrayed, Chosen, Untamed, Hunted, Tempted, Burned, Awakened, Destined, Hidden, and if you saw my other bookshelf that I had the 11th book review. And these are all by PC and Kristen Cast, with the exception of the Fledgling Handbook, which is just PC Cast. Vampire Academy, Frostbite, Shadow Kiss, Blood Promise, Spiritbound, Last Sacrifice, and these are all by Rochelle Mead, and this is the Vampire Academy series. Hush Hush, Crescendo, Silence, and Finale by Rebecca Fitzpatrick, and this is the Hush Hush saga. Hex Hall, Demon Glass, Spellbound, and this is the Hex Hall trilogy by Rachel Hawkins. The Summer I Turned Pretty, It's Not Summer Without You, We'll Always Have Summer, and this is by Jenny Han, and this is the Summer series. If I Stay, and Where She Went by Gail Forman, and this is, I guess, the If I Stay, like, series. Anna and the French Kiss, and its companion Lola and the Boy Next Door. So onto this next shelf. They originally were all hardcovers that were this size, but I took a bunch over to the other house. So now they're like taller hardcovers too. So let's get into this shelf. Between the Lines by Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer. Matched and Crossed by Ali Condé, and you saw the third book in the other bookshelf. Across the Universe by Beth Revis. Nancy Boys by Neil Gaiman. Why We Broke Up by Daniel Handler, and art by Maura Kalman. Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight by Jennifer E. Smith. Between Here and Forever by Elizabeth Scott. Bunheads by Sophie Flack. 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. Sleepaway Girls by Jen Colanita. Such a Rush by Jennifer Eccles. Being Friends with Boys by Tara Allen McVoy. My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. Someone Else's Life by Katie Dale. Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson, High Society by Allie Carter, and the sequel Uncommon Criminals by Allie Carter. Wake, Lullaby by Amanda Hocking, and this is the Water Song series. The Immortal Rules by Julie Kagawa, which is the first book in the Blood of Eden series. Beautiful Creatures by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll, which is the first book in the Castor Chronicles. Fire by Courtney Allison Moulton, and in the other bookshelf you saw the sequel Wings of the Wicked. Haven by Christy Cook. Spoiled by Heather Cox and Jessica Morgan, which is the first book in the Spoiled series. This book on this shelf is Lies Beneath by Anne Greenwood Brown. And what I didn't mention about these books is they're kind of organized in a weird way, like standalones to first books and series to two books, you know, the usual. So that's what's up with this shelf. This shelf mostly includes like bind-ups and then the start of like my paperback series and stuff like that, and obviously like a shredded hardcover box set. So the first three books I have on this shelf is the Hunger Games box set by Suzanne Collins, and this includes The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay. I Like Him, He Likes Her, I Planned It This Way, and Please Don't Be True by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor, and these are all part of the Alice series. They actually blind ups, and you actually saw the first bind up. And the other bookshelf, sorry, a lot of these series are like split up between the shelves. So that's what's up. Endless Summer bind up by Jennifer Eccles, which includes The Boys Next Door and Endless Summer. The 9 Lives of Chloe King bind up, which includes the first 3 books, The Fallen, The Stolen, and The Chosen, and it is written by Liz Bradwell, writing as Cecilia Thompson. Winter's Kiss bind up, which includes a story by Jennifer Eccles and Catherine Hapka. Morganville Vampires Volume 1, which includes Glass Houses and The Dead Girls Dance. The Morganville Vampires Volume 2, which includes Midnight Alley and Feast of Fools. Morganville Vampires Volume 3, which includes Lord of Misrule and Carpe Corpus. The Morganville Vampires Volume 4, which includes Fade Out and Kiss of Death. Book number 9, Ghost Town. Book number 10, Fight Club. Book number 11, Last Breath. And book number 12, Black Dawn, and these are all by Rachel Kane. Fallen. Book 2, Torment. Book 3, Passion. And the little in-between, which is 3.5, Fallen in Love by Lauren Cave. And these are the Fallen series. Switched, Torn, and the final and third book is Ascend by Amanda Hocking, and this is the Trill series. Evermore, and Blue Moon, which is the second book by Alison Noel. LA Candy, Sugar and Spice, and the final book in Lauren Conrad's LA Candy novels is Sweet Little Lies. And this next shelf is all paperbacks. For the life of me, I cannot get a good angle of it backed up, so we're going back and forth. So we're going to start with the book. It basically starts with like kind of like companion series, and then goes into a series, by numbers of how many books I have in them to standalones. The Truth About Forever by Sarah Dessen, Along for the Ride by Sarah Dessen, and Lock and Key by Sarah Dessen. The Iron King, and The Iron Daughter, which is the second book in the Iron Fae trilogy, not trilogy, series. Shiver, and Linger by Maggie Stiefvater, and these are the first two books in the Wolves of Mercy Falls series. Where I Belong, and A Long Way From You by Gwendolyn Hazley, and these are kind of companion books, but this one takes place after Where I Belong. Falling Under by Gwen Hayes, Paranormalcy by Kirsten White, Forbidden by Siri James and Ryan M. James, and I'm waiting for the sequel to come out. It cannot come out sooner, and I don't even think it has a release date, but I really want it to happen. Deadly Little Secret by Lori Faria-Stallers, and this is the first book in the Touch series. The Mockingbirds by Daisy Whitney. My Fair Godmother by Jeanette Rallison. This is the first book in the Chronicles of Nick. It's called Infinity, and it's by Sherilyn Kenyon, and you saw the other 3 books in my other bookshelf. The Marriage Bargain by Jennifer Probst, and this is the first book in the Marriage series. The Unwritten Rule by Elizabeth Scott. Two-Way Street by Lauren Barnholt. Saving June by Hannah Harrington. Impossible by Nancy Werlin. Hateless by Jennifer Brown. A Kiss in Time by Alex Flynn. Looking for Alaska by John Green. Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. Speak by Lori Hulse Anderson. The Sky is Everywhere by Jandy Nelson. Summer by Michelle Dalton. Megan Mead's Guide to the McGowan Boys by Kate Bryan. To Save a Life by Jim and Rachel Britz, and this is a novel based on the movie, and this is both a really good book and movie, and I would really recommend it. Troy High by Shannon Norris, and this is actually a retelling of the Iliad. Dash and Lily's Book of Dares by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. Sleeping Freshmen Never Lie by David Lubar. The Espressologist by Christina Springer. Willa by Julia Hobbin, and this is an amazing book too. Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen. And Old Magic by Mary Ann Curley, and that sums up this shelf. Now this is a really dark shelf, but this is kind of gets into some books that I haven't read yet. I mean, most of these books I have read, so these are kind of books that I haven't read yet, except for the little beginning parts. Let's get into it. This is Waiting by Carol Lynch Williams. Crank by Ellen Hopkins. The Book of Luke by Jenny O'Connell. The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Text by S.E. Hinton. And The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. The Back Door of Midnight by Elizabeth Chandler. I actually put this up on the next shelf so you could see it. And this is Dark Secrets of One, and this includes Legacy of Lies and Don't Tell by Elizabeth Chandler. And this is Dark Secrets 2, and includes No Time to Die and The Deep End of Fear by Elizabeth Chandler. This is Kissed by an Angel Bind Up by Elizabeth Chandler, and it includes Kissed by an Angel, The Power of Love, and Soulmates. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, which I have not read yet. Siren by Trisha Rayburn, and I have not read this one yet either. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter by Seth Grahame-Smith, and I have not read this one either. Strange Angels by Lily St. Croix. The Forest of Hands and Teeth by Carrie Ryan. Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, which I obviously have read. The Vampire Diaries, The Awakening and the Struggle by L.J. Smith. Books 3 and 4, The Fury and the Dark Reunion by L.J. Smith, and I've read these. Entwined by Heather Dixon, and I have not read this. Life of Pi by Yan Martel, and I have not read this. Just to make my life easier, I have not read any of the next books, and unless I tell you otherwise. A Northern Light by Jennifer Donnelly. Moonlight by Rachel Hawthorne, which is a Dark Guardian novel. The Devil in the White City by Eric Larson. Dreaming Anastasia by Joy Preble. Infinite Days by Rebecca Maisel. The Prophecy of the Sisters by Michelle Zink. The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. 17th Summer by Maureen Daly. No Longer a Slumdog by K.P. Yohanan. Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. And the final book is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness, which is the first book in the Chaos Walking trilogy. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up because I worked really hard on it. And then add me as a friend on Grades and follow me on Twitter and Instagram because those are fun things to do. So I will talk to you guys later.